Hi everyone, my name is Taylor and I'm one of the graduate assistants here at the Writing Center, and this presentation is going to serve as our brief Writing Center presentation until we can get back into the classroom soon and give these presentations. So this presentation will cover the Writing Center services, how our appointments function, and what our services are going to look like this fall as the campus is looking a little bit different. The Writing Center is an academic support service that's provided to Lewis students at no extra cost, which means that it is included in students' tuition. And the Writing Center, our purpose is to promote writing excellence across campus, regardless of the major or program that a student is in. And whenever a writer or Lewis student would like assistance with their writing, they can make an appointment to work with a Writing Center tutor, and they don't need to wait for an instructor to encourage them to visit the Writing Center or to require them to visit the Writing Center as a part of the class. For those of you who have not been to the Writing Center before or never seen it, it is located on the first floor of the library inside the Learning Resource Center. And depending on which side you walk in, it's in the back of the library with a bunch of windows around it. So you shouldn't miss it, but if you can't find it, just ask any of the library workers. And we're open every day of the week, and we have morning appointments, afternoon appointments, and even evening appointments throughout the week. So it's accessible to students even if they have a full-time job or a busy schedule. The Writing Center is there to help students with their writing at any point in the writing process. So whether the writer feels that they are completely done with their paper and they just need a fresh set of eyes to look over it for grammar, or they are having difficulty starting and need help generating ideas or brainstorming, at any point in between, the Writing Center can and is willing to help. And so some examples include, as I said, brainstorming, developing ideas further, organizing the ideas in a coherent way, or helping with lower order concerns like formatting such as APA and MLA, and grammar and language usage. So when a writer makes an appointment, they should always plan on providing their assignment sheet and or rubric and any other notes that the tutor may find helpful. And then of course they should provide their paper, and I will talk about the policies that will be in place for providing these documents if face-to-face appointments do come back this fall later in the presentation. But just know that any information a student can provide to the tutor about the assignment is helpful because it allows the tutor to provide feedback that's tailored to what the professor's expectations are versus giving more general feedback. And so when writers come in or have a phone appointment with a tutor, they will read their paper out loud. And this is intimidating for some people, but it's helpful for the tutor because it helps the tutor get an idea of what may need to be addressed in the session. And it's helpful for the writer because it allows them to identify little mistakes that they made in their paper or wording errors that maybe Word didn't catch but are still incorrect. So it's helpful for both parties. And we do offer 30, 60, and 90-minute appointments, though typically 60 to 90-minute appointments are recommended for longer papers. It really just depends on how long the student's paper is and how many questions they have. But I would say 60 minutes is typically sufficient for most papers. And even if the paper is shorter, I do often still recommend making a 60-minute appointment, and that way you can guarantee that you're able to get through everything that you wanted to get through in the time allotted versus not having enough time. Our goals at the Writing Center are to help writers strengthen their writing ability and process overall. Obviously, we still have the goal of helping writers strengthen their writing project specifically, but by helping writers to strengthen their writing abilities, their hope is that they may not make the same mistakes with their future writing projects as maybe they did with the writing project that they're coming in with. And we also hope that students walk away from the Writing Center appointment having a clear revision plan and feeling confident in their ability to revise what they choose to revise. So we have 4 different types of appointments that I'm going to briefly go over right now. So our first one is the face-to-face appointment, which is just what you think of when you think of a tutoring appointment. You'll come into the Writing Center and you'll work one-on-one with a Writing Center tutor. You'll read through the paper, and then you guys will discuss what you may revise as you go forward. These appointments can be anywhere from 30 to 90 minutes. Then we have our real-time phone appointments, which function similarly to a face-to-face, but they'll take place over the phone and using Google Docs. And so when you make this appointment, you'll upload the necessary materials, such as your paper, your rubric, your assignment sheet, all of that. And then at the time of your appointment, your tutor will call you, and they will have set up a Google Doc with your paper and shared it with you, assuming that you did provide the paper. and then you guys will read through the paper and discuss it just how you would in a face-to-face appointment. The email online response appointments are a popular type of appointment that we offer, and for this one you just will email all the necessary materials, so your paper is a Word document, your assignment sheet, your rubric, all of the necessary materials, and in the body of the email you'll let us know what class this is for, who your instructor is, and any concerns that you have about the assignment. And within 24 to 48 hours you'll get a response back, and a tutor will have made comments on it using the Word document commenting feature, and will have summarized what they think you may look at as you revise in the body of the email. And so please note with this appointment to make sure you give yourself enough time to send it in, to get the feedback, and then to apply any feedback you choose to, and then turn your paper in. Because if you send it in the middle of the night and you need it back and it's due at your 10 a.m. class the next day, you're not going to give it back in time. So please make sure you give yourself enough time to plan for this type of appointment. And then our Joint Writing Center and Research Librarian appointments are face-to-face appointments, and they have both a Writing Center tutor there and a research librarian. So the Writing Center tutor can help with the writing aspect of the assignment, and the research librarian can help you with the research aspect, using the databases and finding credible sources for your topic. And so I will note that the Joint Writing Center and the real-time phone appointments do need to be at least 60 minutes, and that is because with the technology, sometimes things get delayed, and with having 2 people present in the appointment, it's too much to have only a 30-minute appointment. And so later in this presentation, I will go over what's being offered right now during the fall 2020 semester, as things are a bit different on campus and different policies that we're going to have in place, and then I will also go over how to make these different types of appointments. Our tutors at the Writing Center come from a variety of majors, including English, education, nursing, sciences, and it really varies each semester depending on who's graduated and who we've hired. But regardless of the majors or the programs that tutors are in, they're trained to analyze writing from across disciplines and offer useful strategies. So the writers don't need to worry about making an appointment with a tutor who is a part of a program specific to the class that they're in. And we also have graduate writing specialists who are tutors who are in graduate school currently or who have more training on working with graduate level writing. And we have ESL, ELL specialists on staff who are trained to assist writers with their specific needs regarding English not being their first language. And so you can learn more about our tutors by reading their bios on WC Online or on our Lewis OWL. To contact us at the Writing Center right now, while we're not fully in the office and we are working remote, our email is the best bet, so it's just writingcenter@lewisu.edu. But you can also call us at the number on the screen, and if we don't answer, just leave a voicemail and we will get back to you as soon as we hear your voicemail. If you want to stop by at the Writing Center during the fall 2020 semester, I would suggest emailing to see if and when someone will be in the center, because we at this time will not have someone regularly in the center every single day as we typically do. So as I said, there are going to be some differences in the Writing Center services during the fall 2020 semester. So currently the Writing Center is going to start the semester only offering remote services. So this will include our real-time phone appointments and our email online response appointments. We will not offer face-to-face appointments or the Joint Writing Center and Research Librarian appointments at the start of the fall semester. We will keep everyone updated, and we may or may not transition back to face-to-face appointments as our staff is comfortable and as the situation changes. That being said, appointments can still be made for help with the research librarians through the library website. The writers do not need to go through the Writing Center in order to see a research librarian. And there may be staff in the Writing Center throughout the week for quick questions, but social distancing guidelines will still be in place, and we do not have a consistent schedule for this yet. So if you are wanting to stop by, you can double check with the Writing Center through their email to see if anyone will be there. Otherwise, you can have your questions answered through email or on the phone. And while face-to-face appointments are suspended, our Oak Brook and Grad locations will not have a separate WC Online schedule. And for those of you who have used the Writing Center before in the past, you may have known that the Writing Center had separate schedules for their Oak Brook and Grad locations, but because there will not be separate locations for these in the fall because of remote services, all tutors will be on the main Writing Center schedule. And finally, we will provide updates about our services to the Lewis community through our social media and through Lewis emails as our services change and the situation unfolds. To make appointments with the Writing Center, you can visit WC Online, which is our online schedule, by going to the URL on the screen. It's just lewisu.edu/appointment. And if you've never used the Writing Center before, you'll have to make an account. So you can just click to register and enter all the information that is required, and it's indicated by a red asterisk. And it's helpful if you register using your Lewis email because it's a Gmail account, so that will make it easier for real-time phone appointments. And once you finish entering all the information, you just click register to submit. When you log into WC Online, this is what it will look like. So the white boxes indicate a spot that is available for tutoring. Dark blue indicates an unavailable time when that tutor that you're looking at is not working. And bright blue indicates a spot that's already been reserved by another writer. And so when you make an appointment, the box will turn yellow or gold, and that indicates the appointments that you have. And once you click on a white box, an appointment box will pop up, and you'll fill out the required information in that box and click submit, and then you will have your appointment reserved. So you will make a real-time phone appointment on the WC Online schedule, and during the period of remote learning, this is the only appointment that will be able to be made on WC Online. And these appointments, as I said, do need to be 60 minutes long. So when that appointment box pops up, you'll fill out the information, you'll attach your paper to that window, and then you'll check a box saying that you are acknowledging that the tutor is going to call you and that it will likely pop up from a private number, because while our services are remote, tutors are using their personal cell phones to complete phone appointments, and so we will call from a private number. And once you attach everything, you'll click submit and the appointment should save. Some writers have difficulty or are unable to upload their paper and their rubric and stuff to the appointment box, and so if that does happen, you can just email us your paper, your assignment sheet, your rubric, and just make sure to let us know that you are sending this in for a real-time phone appointment with the tutor that you made the appointment with, and we will forward it to your tutor. If you do not let us know that you're sending this to our inbox for a real-time phone appointment, we will likely assume that you are sending it in for an email online response, and it might not get to the tutor that you wanted it to. The other appointment that we will have available during the period of remote learning is our online response appointments. And so for these types of appointments, you do not make an appointment on our WC Online schedule, which is why our real-time phone appointments are the only appointment types that will be made on the WC Online schedule. For online responses, you will just email your paper to writingcenter@lewisu.edu, and also please attach your rubric and assignment sheet. And as I said, the papers will be assigned to a tutor by Writing Center staff, and you don't send it to a tutor yourself. And so once we send it to a tutor, you'll receive feedback within 24 to 48 hours. And please also note that papers should be sent as a Word document, not as a PDF or Google Doc, and that's because we need that Word document commenting feature in order to provide you with feedback. So some best practices for using the Writing Center that we found over the years is to visit the Writing Center early in the writing process. We find this is more helpful than waiting until the day before the paper is due, because oftentimes writers get stressed if a tutor brings up maybe a bigger revision that may be made to the paper. It often stresses writers out a little bit more because they don't have as much time to implement the revisions that they might have liked to. And we also find that it's helpful when writers work with a tutor often, because they can get multiple rounds of feedback. And so if they work with a tutor consistently, they not only are improving their writing skills, but they're able to get multiple rounds of feedback. They come in, they get feedback from a tutor, they're able to make those revisions and then come back in and look at it again to see how those revisions were implemented into the paper. Finally, some other resources that we offer besides our Writing Center appointments are our Lewis OWL, which is our online writing lab. And here, writers will have access to dozens of free printable writing resources, and they can learn more about the Writing Center tutors and services that are offered. And so we're in the process of changing this over to a different site, and so the URL for that will change, and we will update the Lewis community as it does. The Writing Center also has social media. We have Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat, and the handles for all of those are Writing Center LU. And on Facebook, you can also use this as another way to contact us and ask quick writing questions. So you can message us there, and sometimes you'll get lucky and a tutor may respond outside of the Writing Center hours. And so that's also a helpful resource for you guys. Thank you for listening to our Writing Center brief presentation. We look forward to working with you in the fall and being back in the classroom with you soon.